Recording in progress.
Hi guys, my name is Ankit Srivastav. I practice at the principal seat of Madhya Pradesh High Court in Jabalpur, and the reason I am speaking to you today is that we have a new Chief Justice of India, and honestly speaking, that's not too exciting because Chief Justices, with due respect, lots of them come and go, but I'm fairly excited today to have this person as a Chief Justice, who is Justice Chandrachud. And the reason I am fairly excited is this person is, I see an element of disruption in him. So he's not the person who likes status quo. He likes to challenge things. There were previous judgments of his on Aadhaar and other things which he had challenged, and he took oath as the Chief Justice of India. His judgments are being quoted around the world. Recently in Jamaica, one of his judgment was quoted in the court there. So now this Honorable Chief Justice takes oath and says something which is whispered around the country, but people don't dare to speak out, including myself. So I was asked by an honorable judge of Madhya Pradesh High Court, uh, that how old are you? No, he didn't ask how old are you. By looking at me, he assumed that I was a young man. I don't know, maybe my hairs were properly colored on that given day. But he said he saw me and probably said some young chap is appearing in the court. So did you practice under some senior before? I said no, I didn't. So how long you've been practicing? Sir, 4 or 5 years. So 4 or 5 years is not a long time. You should practice under a senior, and people are today are born and they want to practice, and people don't want to practice under a senior. And out of respect for the judge, I did not say anything. Now, I was thrilled when I heard the news of Honorable Chief Justice Chandrachud saying, "Junior lawyers are not slaves. Pay them fairly. It is the duty of the senior." Honestly speaking, I did not start my career with the legal profession. I was working in the corporate world, and just out of sheer coincidence, I did my MBA in IT, and uh, I got into projects on corporate legal compliance. So I learned a bit of American corporate law just by accident. I had zero interest in law, zero interest in corporate legal compliance. But in information technology, I was doing sales, and whatever projects you get, you need to put your brains in that, learn the things, and move on. So for almost 2 decades, I have worked in corporate legal compliance directly or indirectly. And when I got involved in a lot of personal cases, I pursued law and became a lawyer. And a lot of my 2 generation old civil cases are still pending in the court today. I observed these Indian lawyers. I've traveled in North America, almost to all cities in US and Canada, and I've observed these people how they work in India. And I found it disgusting to note that yes, the Chief Justice is 100% correct when he says don't treat your Indian lawyers, your junior lawyers, like a slave. Indian advocates do, at least in the part of the country where I have been. Even some of my friends who were practicing in Delhi, they told me, "Bhaiya, हमें 50 रुपए दिन मिल रहा था." We were getting 50 rupees per day. And those are lawyers who are graduates. They have a law degree, and probably before the law degree, they had a couple of other degrees. So when they start in this profession, that's what they were paid, below the minimum wage. and even below what a laborer usually makes. So I'm super delighted to see this Chief Justice who says lawyers are not slaves. So it's time that the minimum wage act should be imposed on the senior lawyers. And see, lot of senior lawyers make lot of money. They are driving expensive cars worth 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 80 lakhs, and it goes on and on. And when those lawyers are paying 50 rupees, 100 rupees, or 200 rupees per day to the juniors, I feel terrible as an Indian for those lawyers. So I'm so thankful to this Chief Justice. And I could have replied to the Honorable High Court Judge of Madhya Pradesh on that day. I could have gone on and on bragging about what goes on in the court, which they have themselves seen. But not everybody is as honest as Justice Chandrachud. He has opened Pandora's box. I'm certainly delighted to see a judge who is able to speak the truth, even if there'll be thousands of people who will be speaking against him. So, senior lawyers, if you have a car that's worth 10 lakhs or 80 lakhs or maybe more, are you paying your junior lawyers well? Please ask your junior lawyers. I don't think so. And as a client, also, I've suffered this. Another thing that Justice Chandrachud says is that I'm a client as well of some lawyers, where I'm a consumer of the judicial system and of that particular lawyer. Lawyers don't treat their clients very well. Uh, so I've paid a certain amount, let's say 25,000 rupees to a lawyer, and then his juniors come around and expect some fees as well. And I'm like, well, we decided on 25,000 rupees, so why should I be paying an extra 5,000 or 10,000 rupees to his juniors? That was not agreed upon. Then that's how not how you business. It's like when you go to buy, let's say, uh, 10 kgs of atta or a flour, and it costs, let's say, 300 rupees on the MRP. And then when you go to checkout, the person who is selling that product in the grocery store is expecting another 50 or 100 rupees from you. So as a client, I do feel cheated when junior lawyers come to me and say, give me something because my senior doesn't pay me anything, and give me something because my senior pays me 100 rupees or 50 rupees per day. So I'm so thankful to you, sir, if you ever watch this video, that you have addressed a very big problem. And I am about 46 years old. Normally, I color my hair. I like to look young, and that hurts in the legal profession sometimes. So people take you granted for a kid. If I shave well, I go to courts. I'm fresh. Then my biggest fear is that people will take me for granted for somebody who is less than 35 or 30 years old. And if you're not 30 plus or 35 plus in the legal profession, you're treated as a child in several courts, unless you're really somebody who's well known. So the second point, which this honorable judge has very beautifully mentioned in his speech, is old boys club. Sorry, a genius can be 10 years old, 20 years old, or 50 years old. You don't have to have gray hair in order to be a genius. Let me give you an example. Now, I am from the information technology world, corporate world, as well as corporate legal compliance. Thousands and thousands of lawyers, engineers, and MBAs and all other professionals, they line up to work for companies like Microsoft and Apple. What people who are in the old boys club should know, and that these both of these people who founded these companies, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, they were young boys in their teens, and they founded these companies which became really started in a garage, and they became huge companies worldwide. They were not really an boys club. Today, lawyers, MBAs, and people with all sorts of PhDs line up to work for these two people who are college dropouts or school dropouts, if I'm not mistaken. So again, thank you, sir. Thank you to Justice Chandrachud for bringing out these two critical elements. I hope it's debated well and they don't target this brilliant man who is Chief Justice of India. I hope he stays long in office. And I really like him because he's disruptive, he's challenging. If we want to practice law the way it was practiced 300 years back, and we still wear these collars and these gowns and nothing has changed in India. In America, people have stopped using collars and gowns. The lawyers wear simple suits and they go to the courts. I don't know why we are sticking to this uniform. And British practices, terrible, terrible British practices. Haven't you seen what is happening in the UK? Do you want to sink like the UK? If we are not disruptive, if we don't change our legal system, then India will sink like the UK. And don't be surprised if our next prime minister comes from the UK or Italy or from wherever. Because if we reach in a desperate situation where we don't challenge the status quo in our country, today, the GDP per capita of our country is lower than that of Bangladesh. Then be prepared for a next prime minister who might be a white guy from UK, Italy, or maybe a black guy from Africa, or to make matters worse, you never know, somebody from China may be our next prime minister. So hope you like this video. And again, thank you, sir. Thanks to Justice Chandrachud for bringing up these disruptive facts and topics for discussion. Have a nice day.